Chat. I noticed that YouTube has another feature, which I'll probably not use, and it's going to be to my detriment, but like, come on. If I have to record that, you can have like a trailer before the live stream to show what you're going to be talking about, and it's like, YouTube, I do not know what I'm going to be talking about. Like, why are you forcing me to make this choice? Like, how can I make a trailer for my live stream when I have no clue what's going to be discussed in that live stream? So, right, we're going to be discussing the European Union. I know that I was supposed to be talking about the Met Gala tonight, which is something that I'll probably do tomorrow. I know I promised yesterday that I'll do it today, and today I promised that I'll do it tomorrow. You see where this is going? But I just found out about the European Union, so it impacts me. And if it impacts me, I need to talk about it. But yeah, hello Zedif, hello Ioana. Ioana, are you Romanian? I think she's Romanian. Chat. We have a Romanian woman in the chat. You should see Romania chat. She's very based as well. Like, a lot of people are shocked. It's like, oh my god, Eastern European women are so bad. I'm like, no, they're normal. It's probably how American women used to be in the 80s. It's not that different. I mean, they're just not poisoned by the virus of the Western academia. We have the Eastern academia here. But anyway, right, so, play a bunch of intro clips. That's not a good idea. Isn't the thumbnail the preview? No, basically, like, what's going to happen is you're going to click on the live stream, and it has its thumbnail and everything, and then you're going to get like a little trailer with what's happening in the live stream. So I think Pipkin Pippa is going to take advantage of this, and other streamers that only stream. But for me, making 4 videos a day, making a live stream, making a video game, like adding another layer to this, it's going to be difficult. And I don't even think the feedback is going to be that great. So yes, I could play shorts. Dude, do you know how difficult it is to make those things? Like, YouTube is really pressuring content creators to make shorts. Like, I had the manager call me, like, literally, like, on my phone. Like, I'm picking up my phone and there's a guy speaking English. I'm like, what? I'm in Romania. Why is this happening? Make shorts. I'm like, it's not that easy, you know? Like long-term format and short-term format are 2 different things. But it is what it is. No shorts, no stupid intro, just focus. See, I love Libyan. Like, yes, absolutely. The thing is, like, shorts would actually be good. Like, it would actually get me more subscribers and more people interested. But the problem with it is that, and Quartering noticed it, you get the individuals joining your channel and they stick around for a little bit, but then they leave because, like, they wanted the shorts. And you make long-term content. It just, no, it's just bad, no. Make cat shorts. The cat shorts were actually very popular, to be honest, but I do not want to stress my cats. And like, how many cat shorts can you make until it becomes obnoxious? It's actually kind of funny because, like, cat videos are considered by YouTube to be spam. You should answer, make it worth my while and make it easier not to get demonetized. I don't think you understand, JF, how these individuals operate, alright? Like, they do not speak outside of a piece of paper. Like, they literally have... This is the perfect job that you can use to replace with AI. Like, the people representing YouTube, they literally have a flowchart. They do not speak outside of the flowchart. If I tell them, make it worth my while, they do not know how that computes. They just... Right? So, make it worth my while. They would probably say, yeah, well, you're going to get more subscribers. And I'm like, great. Will they stick around? And they will be like, I don't know. And that's it. Like, the moment I stopped making shorts, my manager stopped contacting me. Like, that's literally the job. They go on and they're like, oh, another brainstorm idea. Like, this is something that I really enjoyed. Gate your content behind a paywall. Chat, would you love it if I do it? Apparently, if I gate my content behind a paywall, you guys will pay... Because otherwise you're going to feel that you miss out. Is this good logic? Do you guys think that you will miss out on my videos if you do not pay? Right? So, like, I should ask you for like $5 to become a member to my channel. And then you can get to see my videos before everyone else. I saw the Quartering try that shit. And then I looked at his social blade. He actually went into the red, and then he never tried it again. But that, you know, no, seriously, like, this is when the corporation tells the little guy what to do. The corporation doesn't understand the audience. I think I understand my audience a little bit better. Not a lot. I mean, I can't say that I understand you very well, but still. Right, gate my content behind the paywall. Fucking hell. It's just, what's next? Huh? Like, what next? They also told me to do more live streams. I'm like, I'm doing it on another channel. Oh. Paying $10 for early access troll video. I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean, they really don't understand what made YouTube good. You know, like the whole thing that the word "you" before the tube is what should describe the platform. It's like average people just uploading their stuff, because you get away from the soulless corporation. The soulless corporation does not know how to talk to the average individual. And now they're like, oh, well, actually, can you be more corporate, please? Can you be more like cable? Like, please be more like cable. Anyway, right, so we have Gonzalo Lira. I will probably make a video on my main channel about him. Do you guys remember Coach Red Pill? Recently, I met someone online. They look exactly like them. And now I know they can't be the same people because one of them is arrested in Ukraine. The other one apparently is free. But look at this. Right? So Coach Red Pill, famous YouTuber, right, was giving advice to men how to date women. He was a little bit more on the right-wing side of the spectrum, and had a successful channel, I would say. Got more subs than me at one point. And then he goes, he encourages Americans, because America is so bad and things are going really, really nasty over there. Encouraged them to move to Ukraine. This was before the war. Now when the war happens, right, he already moved to Ukraine. And is suggesting that it's still not a bad idea to move to Eastern Europe. Now it was like a little bit more ambiguous in the geographical area, but still. He decides to do on-the-ground reporting from Ukraine. The problem is that he was a little bit biased, more to the Russian side. And his videos appeared in Russia Today. I mean, if I was a journalist at Russia Today, and it's like, well, there's this American that is making videos supporting the Russian narrative. I mean, how can you resist? How can you resist, right? So, like, he actually appeared over there in a couple of segments. But that didn't stop him. He pressed on and on and on. And apparently now he's been arrested. And he signed guilty. He treated him as a Russian chaos agent. You know, like, I am a person that believes in free speech and all, but... Dude, imagine, like, in World War II, you're going as... So, in World War II, you're in Manchester as a reporter, and on the radio, you're pushing for pro-German propaganda. I don't think the British forces would look kindly to that. Right? Like, I'm just saying, you know, like, in Japan, in World War II, you have an American that is over there, and he is publishing pro-American propaganda. No. And I don't even understand, like, why was he doing it from Ukraine? Because, again, like, he wasn't actually, like, doing on-the-ground reporting, as in, like, look, behind me is the wreckage. No, he was reporting from his hotel room, right? Or he was walking down the street. He wasn't like, oh, well, I need to be here so I can show you guys that. No. He was just like in his hotel room talking about the same stuff you find on RT. Like literally that there were, because I looked, it's like the same article from RT was on his channel. Like, okay. And now he got in trouble with the Ukrainian authorities. I don't think it's going to be a similar case to when what was it, the female basketball player, that lady of color which got arrested in Russia for substance, carrying illegal substance, right? And banned and Joe Biden freed her in exchange for, what was it, like one of the worst arm dealers in our time. What was his name? I mean, they even made a documentary about him. He was like the most wanted man on earth at one point. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like that. I mean, look, there's just the Darwin Award. What can I say? Like, again, I'm not against, people having different takes on the Ukrainian conflict, sure. But don't do it from Ukraine. I mean, it's kind of like going... there are Vice articles that talked about the North Korean labor camps in Russia. Do you know what they did? They went there, they videotaped the footage on the ground, right? Like, to have the evidence that it's happening. But they didn't release it while they were in Russia, okay? Like, first they left the country, and then they released the footage. Victor Bout, yes, Victor Bout. See, his name eluded me. Nicolas Cage, yes. Nicolas Cage. But, thank you, Big Brain Content, for liking... I just watched a documentary about Liberia. It's not great there. Yeah, and you know what you do when you record a documentary about Liberia? You do not release it from Liberia. Yeah, it is what it is. Imagine taunting the local secret police. I don't think he taunted the local secret police either. But his channel was growing in popularity. Like, he had 300,000 subscribers. I'm pretty sure, like, the Ukrainian secret police themselves just got recommended the video. Like, they didn't even have to be told that the video exists. Like, they probably browsed cat videos on YouTube, and it's like, oh, Coach Red Pill videos are up next. You would be interested in seeing this. It is what it is. It's something that I mentioned just because I knew the guy. And I live stream with him as well. Holy shit. I'm live streaming with convicted people now. Anyway, right. This is on the Saturday Night Live. What the American comedy show is this, huh? Because I don't watch them. But, like, if anyone does, please take a look. Like, stop what you're doing. Take a look at the screen. And tell me... Oh, The Daily Show. The watermark was there, and I did not find it. There are so many things that are wrong in this picture that I don't even know where to start. It's like how to put mountains of propaganda in one picture. So first of all, the lady which is supposed to play Cleopatra, they whitened her skin. Why did they do that? Let me show you how the lady looks like, okay? Just so you can see what the Daily Show did. They did the CNN Joe Rogan thing when Joe Rogan came out and said, I had COVID and now I'm fine. And they immediately used the Hollywood magic, Pixar magic, in order to make him look sickly, right? This is the actress. This is how she looks like. This isn't the Netflix trailer presentation, right? So maybe Netflix tinkered with the settings. I don't know. But this is what the Daily Show... Huh? Like, one of them is not like the other. What's happening here? Why are they doing this? I mean, this lady has a skin color much darker than this lady, and yet, why did they... Can anyone tell me, please? Let me know. I'm pressing F1. Help. Taskete. Someone tell me, why did they do this? What did they mean by this? So, anyway, right. Egypt is concerned about the historical accuracy of casting a black Cleopatra. I didn't hear you complain when all the mummy movies came out. The mummy movies casted actors from Egypt as far as I know. Like, the Pharaoh, right? He was an Egyptian actor, but even if he wasn't, his skin color wasn't white. Brandon Fraser is the role of an English person, right? Like, he's an English man living in an English colony. Like, the casting choice is accurate, and secondly, one of them is a make-believe movie, right? Like, this is not real, as you can notice by the zombies. So this one is fantasy. This one is a historical document. That's how Netflix advertised it. Historical documentary. So I don't get where the joke is. The joke is that The Daily Show hires incompetent writers, which are on strike now. I wonder why. God. Oh, The Daily Show. Did they ever make a single funny joke though? Because I actually subjected myself to watching American late night comedy. My God, like Tim Pool is funny compared to those people. Like occasionally Tim Pool has a great quip, but The Daily Show is preachy, moralistic. It just doesn't make any single funny joke like at all. Like, and I tried my best. Like, come on, make me laugh. Like I set myself up for the jiggle, but it didn't happen. Zlixion Doppelganger for $5. Thank you. Egypt should put a kill order on the Cleopatra people. They set foot in an extradition country. They get shipped out for execution. Dude. Why are you being so unhinged? Zlixion. No. It's not the... Like, even... I don't even think Egypt has blasphemy laws. But you're violating YouTube's TOS, Zlixion. I have to step in. I have to step in because the YouTube CEO... is going to punish me. For saying such a thing. But all jokes aside, no, they should be fined, and I think that Egypt is actually considering banning Netflix. They believe that Netflix views go against the teaching of Islam. I do not know the Islamic faith, but if Egypt is coming to that conclusion, then perhaps they know something that I don't. Like, what type of shows from Netflix goes against the teaching of Islam? Do I have a Muslim in the chat? Where's Abdi Muhammad when I need them? I know that Abdi Muhammad is usually watching my streams, but there must be like another Muslim. I must have two. When one isn't present, the other one should be. Oh, you think Jimmy Crockett says that Homotep is the character that goes against the teachings of Islam? Didn't they also make a British Queen Black? Well, yeah, but when you say they, it makes it sound like they're in cahoots. You're talking about the BBC movie about Queen Elizabeth, I think. She got her head chopped off, though. People keep shouting cooties. I don't know, is cooties against the Islamic faith? Which part? Again, I do not know the Islamic faith. Like, someone should actually tell me. Like, which part and which hadith does it go against? Anyway, I'm pretty sure it does, though. I'm not saying no, but, like, I want to know exactly. Like, which part and what hadith does it go against? I need to know. Or... which verse of the Quran does it, Louis Cypher says yes. I need more information than that, Louis. You can't just tell me yes and expect that I will go along with it. It's not how it works. Wait, where is the... Ah, here we go. We got 10 more minutes before we talk about the European Union. Wasn't Elizabeth? It was Anne Boleyn. Ah, see? This is why I love my chat. Like, no matter the controversy, my chat comes out to help me. So, apparently Amber Heard is now living in Spain in order to see her daughter. I did not know that Amber Heard has a daughter. But she does. And she went to see her. Do you know what Amber Heard allegedly did in Spain? It's on my Twitter. I can't show it on YouTube for obvious reasons. You're going to understand the reasons soon. But I'm going to read the article. Ew. Amber Heard allegedly pooped on the streets of Spain. And I was like, get the fuck out. Did she? And I clicked the thing, and apparently, unless my eyes deceive me, she did. So there is a picture where she is squatting like a Slav. You know, when they're doing the music and they're squatting. That's what Amber Heard is doing in this picture. And it reads, angry, the neighbors who complained also took the time to circle around the scene of the deed. And sure enough, they found the deuce. They even took a picture for evidence as shown above. To quote Joseph Morris, the investigative journalist, it sounded a lot like something Amber Heard would do. Now the problem is, and the reason I say allegedly, is that the pictures are very pixelated and thus easy to fake. So, did she or didn't she, we do not know. But it seems to be the Spanish problem now. If it's true, I guess the Spanish can say when America is sending its people, it's not sending their best. People are saying it's true. How do you know? Were you there? I guess it's like I choose to believe this is canon. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to see a police report where she has been charged, it's probably like, what is it? Public indecency? Exposure in public? Usually in Britain, I think it's like actions against the moral code or something, whatever. It would probably constitute a fine. Like, should probably have to cough up some cash. But it is a little bit of public indecency, isn't it? Where's Spooky? And can you mod cold cuts? He kissed the boy. What does kissing a boy have to do with obtaining a moderator status on my channel? I will mod you, Fish Fry, though, because I feel grateful today. But other than that, no. And I do not know where Spooky is. I'm not his mother's keeper. I hope I didn't upset Zlixion. I deleted his super chat. But he was the violator. He violated the TOS. He wished harm upon the people that made the Netflix documentary. Have you seen Artifice Girl yet? It's pretty much the best movie focusing on modern day AI. Is it the one where it's like a toy for kids? Because I think I've seen the trailer for it, but it may actually end up being a good movie. I'm not modding you, Meta. See, like, other people paid $5. Why would I mod you? See, this is what the YouTube manager should have told me. It's like, give people moderation status in exchange for cash. This is good. Did it smell? Asked Andre. I do not know. I assume yes. I do not think it smells of roses, let's put it like that. Despite the fact that she looks gorgeous. Come on, Amber Heard looks gorgeous. Don't tell me she doesn't. But I do not think that the stacco that comes out of her is gorgeous as well. I think the stacco smells nasty. As probably Johnny Depp can attest. Yes, $5, it's literally all it takes. Dude, I have like, what, 120 people watching? Like, if I had 1 million subscribers and like 10,000 people watching, then it would have been more expensive. But given the situation, it's supply and demand, so I understand my role in the market economy. Actually, she looks meh in Romania. What, Amber Heard? You're telling me, dude, you're telling me that a woman that looks like Amber Heard, okay, so completely different personality. She looks like her, comes up to you in a bar, and decides to do the flirty. Do you honestly tell me that you would say no? I refuse to believe that. Brandon wants the mod. See, this is why it works. Had I sent $10, I do not think that Brandon would have given me the wrench. Sorry, if it would have given me the dollars, that I would not have given him the wrench. She's a 6. Oh, come on. Come on. I don't know. Mr. Ors, are you here? Like, when it comes to women, I trust his taste. Mr. Ors know the shit. Is Amber Heard a 6? Yes or no? Take into account she's rich. Like, that's also something that, right? I mean, you'd be met. Or actually, no, she's not rich. She's that poor. Like, she's in debt, isn't she? Like, she's got minus on her bank account. Like, she actually has a debt to pay. The only person that can marry her, I guess, and have more debt, it would be Alex Jones. Can you imagine? Like, how much debt does Alex Jones have? Like, he's got the debt of a small nation right now. No, actually, he's got the same debt that Germany has to pay for Poland due to World War II reparations. People are saying, dude, I do not, see, I genuinely do not think that it's a 5 or a 6. She's 37? Yeah, but she's rich, come on. Come on. I feel like Goku Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken. And you should feel like that, Brandon. What? She's got a... No, Alex Jones has more than $1 billion, I think. Alex Jones, I think he has to pay around $2 billion or something like that. I do not know why they didn't ask Alex Jones to pay the entire US debt. Here's my haircut money, says Cryptic. I should actually go out and get a haircut. That is correct. But anyway, right, so I want to discuss something before we go forward. It's about Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh and Tim Pool. And I noticed that a lot of people, you know, are going after Crowder and Tucker. And do you know what's interesting? I'll tell you something interesting right now. I look at the left. And whenever a leftist person is attacked, they are circling the wagons around that person. Like look at Joe Biden's son, right? How many things was he not accused of? And we're talking only about like the public opinion, right? Like we're not talking about the law. We're talking about like the accusations that were brought forth against Joe Biden's son. And notice how like everyone is circling the wagons defending him. No one is attacking, right? And this is like something that you notice as a trend when it comes to the left. Meanwhile, on the right, you have like a private conversation between Crowder and like a couple of statements by Matt Walsh, and everyone's like, oh, disavow. Like, and I think that on the right, you have like a couple of religious people, right? Like for instance, you have, and this is the perfect example, like the Quartering says, you should stop attacking anime and video games, right? And immediately is getting people being like, oh, so right-wingers need to give away their principles in order to blah, 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 blah. And I think, like, the way some right-wingers view things is that as long as you maintain every single principle that you have, as long as you maintain every single, you know, no compromise, just maintain your things, like Jesus will bless you, and you will somehow win the culture war. Right? So, like, if you think that anime is problematic for whatever reasons, if you believe that video games are harmful, right? You should never work with someone that believes anime and video games are good. Because you're giving away your principles. And basically, like, you would have people that would be important assets, but you're not willing to work with them because it would mean giving away your principles. So this is like literally the mentality that some have, not all, but some have. That as long as you, like, you're following your principles and you're being pure, Jesus blesses you, and eventually you win the culture war. But if you work with these people, then I guess Jesus forsakes you, and you do not win the culture war. Lucius Cornelis would gladly be crabbed by... Lucius, I think you have a problem. Jesus fucking Christ. The left does not have principles. Yes, Yes, and it's why the left is actually managing to dominate the culture right now. They do not have principle. The left also doesn't want to ban things. Like that that's interesting. I know what I said sounds weird, but think about it. They want to infiltrate things. They only want to ban things when they can't infiltrate them. So like the left will try, okay, like they want to get to video games, right? They don't try to ban video games. They try to put their people in positions of power in video gaming companies and video game journalist outlets so that they can change video games to push their message. Right? Meanwhile, Jack Thompson and the like, they want to ban video games. It's an important distinction. Like, Jack Thompson doesn't want to put right-wingers and conservatives with his like-mindedness into gaming companies and gaming journals in order to push his type of message. No. He doesn't want to do that. Like, he just wants flat-out ban. The right are conservatives. They are not good at creating, but they are good at keeping order. See, I do not understand that, because if you look at anime, they have a lot of conservative messages. Like, you can make conservative things. The United States as a nation was founded by what we would consider today to be conservatives. I do not think that, yeah, like conservatives are about order, that's true, but at the same time, they can create things. Games should be banned. Way too satanic. Yeah, the thing is, I will tell you why people have that belief. I don't think like anyone really gives a shit about video games, but I do think like it makes for really good clout and a lot of engagement, right? Like if you come, like if I were to have 1 billion subscribers and I come with the dumb take, it's like, oh, video games, ban them, ban them all. I would like that video would go viral, right? So, like, if Jeremy of the Quartering would have one video where he goes like, oh, ban the video games, ban the anime, ban, that would go viral. Like, he would make a lot of money with that video, right? It's the same with the Satanic Panic in the United States. Like, the Satanic Panic didn't get anything canceled, but what it did do is that the people from the media, the journalists and the activists, they made a lot of money with the Satanic Panic. It's a way to make profit, right? Like you say controversial shit, knowing that it's controversial, knowing that it's going to piss people off, specifically to make money. It took less for the iconoclast movement to almost schism the church. Literally, they hated Pretty Jesus anime on the stained glass. This is basically the same thing that is happening now. I guess it's a little bit different, but yes, like, but to be honest, like the iconoclast is actually against the Bible, and I'm telling you this as an Orthodox, right? They managed to like create some sort of mental gymnastics. So like, okay, the Bible is telling people not to pray to pictures, to statues, to anything like that, right? Like, so don't use that. Like, do not worship statues, do not worship pictures. Which is why this is a schism now, because like the Orthodox faith like takes it as do not pray to statues. So like if you look at the Orthodox religion, we do not have any statues of Saint Mary, we do not have any statues of Jesus or anything like that, right? We just have iconoclasts, which is like pictures, right? Like pretty pictures of Jesus. The Catholic Church, on the other hand, they do have statues, right? So like the idea is that they're not praying to the statue, but they're praying to what the statue represents. And this is the same thing that the Orthodox are saying. They're not praying to the picture, they're praying to what the picture represents. But then you have the evangelicals, which take it a step further, and they say, no statue, no picture. Right? So the evangelicals are against both type of depictions. But at least, like, it's not the same, because, like, the evangelicals aren't against the art itself. So they're not against, like, having a statue of Virgin Mary. They're against, like, people praying to the statue of Virgin Mary, right? And the people praying to the statue of Virgin Mary would say that they're not praying to the statue, to the inanimate object. They're praying to the Virgin Mary itself, but they're kind of like using the statue as a way to visualize the Virgin Mary that they're praying. Does that make any sense? They mean celebrities don't worship false idols. Yeah, but like by this logic, they could say that saints were the celebrities of the time, right? So like if you look at the Orthodox Church, you will see a lot of pictures with saints, So you're praying to Saint Peter, right? Is Saint Peter a false idol? So this is where like the debate happens. Now some people will say he is, other people will say he isn't. Like the evangelicals, for example, they do not believe that you should pray to saints at all. But if you look at the way the religion has evolved throughout history, it moved like religion moved away from a multi-theism, which was like the Roman religion, where you had like various gods that had various powers, and it moved to Christianity, where it's one God. Well, actually three, but it's one. Now, in Christianity, in the beginning, like when people were really confused about like, okay, so like now we're not praying to multiple gods, like how do we do this? Because like their entire society was formed around the concept that like different families have their own gods, and like cities had their own gods. Like how do you do that? And then they came out with the concept of saints. So back in the day, like noble families had the protective saint, the city had the protective saint, and the idea was that you are praying to the saint so that the saint talks to God, right? Because like you're too small, too minuscule to actually pray to God itself. The idea of praying to God now is a new concept, which is probably a little bit more than 100 years old. But like in the past, people didn't pray to God. They would either go to a priest, and the priest would pray to a saint, and the saint would pray to God, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it is... but then the evangelicals come and they say like, no, because praying to saints is like praying to idolatry, because you're praying to celebrities, right? Like you're worshiping the saint. But like they would say they're not worshiping the saint. They're just asking the saint like, hey, put in a good word for me to God Almighty, right? Like talk to him on my behalf, basically. Yeah, polytheism versus monotheism, yes. Saint George, the patron saint of ranting. Yeah, like they actually did have, I get the joke, but they did have like their own domains, you know? Like they would protect the city, basically, or... they would do like for example, I think it was Saint Elia, like he was the one that created thunder, because like he's going, so I think it was in the Old Testament or the New Testament, there was one saint which went to heaven using a chariot, and as he was going with the chariot, like the wheels sparked and it created the thunder. So the religion we have now is very different to what people used to believe 400 years ago. Classically, only saints, cardinal, and the pope could talk to God directly. Yeah, literally that. Yeah, Mr. Ors is perfectly correct. But again, like the religion we have now is completely different to what people used to believe in the past. Anyway, let's go to the European Union article. And by the way, Ors, while you're here, would you say that Saint Amber is below or above 6.5? Like many people in the chat are saying that she is a 6.5. I disagree. Like I think that if she would come with her big bosoms in a bar and offered people from my chat a drink, I think they would take it. I think they would date Amber Heard with no shame whatsoever. They would be like, you know what? I'm going to date Amber Heard, and I will put it on my Facebook page because I have no shame. I know who she is. I know what she... I don't care. Anyway, right. EU takes aim at social media harm. So apparently, up until now, I was in great harm's way. Yes, Amber Heard, the one with the red hair, Aquaman, right? Great actress. Was involved in a little bit of controversy with her husband, Johnny Depp, but it's all over now. I think she is not rich. I think she's in debt. I think she may have a couple of millions worth of debt. Apparently, she isn't worth Mr. Orz's style, so she would be a 5. I'm really curious about this man's taste. Anyway, so EU takes aim at social media harms with landmark new law. The Digital Service Act would force Meta, Google, and others to combat the dreaded misinformation and restrict certain online ads. See, I do not know how like they're going to implement this in my country, because in Romania, astonishingly, we actually have free speech in the constitution. We suffered from a couple of decades of communism, and literally like the first thing that people said, free speech. But I'm pretty sure they're going to find a way to justify, because like the thing is like misinformation is free speech. I do not know when misinformation became... I think it was like after COVID, right? Because before that it was fake news. But no one thought that fake news is criminal. But now they're talking about misinformation as if it's the worst thing that has ever happened to humankind. Like, misinformation never existed, but now it does, and it has to be. It used to be like Russian trolls, fake news. Like, they used to have like different ways of labeling it, but now it's misinformation. The European Union was nearing a deal on Friday on landmark legislation that would force Facebook, YouTube, and other internet services to combat misinformation, disclose how their services amplify divisive content, and stop targeting online ads based on a person's ethnicity, religion, or sexual orientation. So, in other words, go against the market, right? Because, like, targeting a person's gender orientation, right? So now I should get Tampax ads, right? Like, am I not following this correctly? Like, basically, YouTube would go, it's like, all right, so we have ads for tampons. This person is a man. He will not require tampon. It's very unlikely, you know? Like, maybe if he bleeds out of his anus, he's got hemorrhoids, maybe he would purchase tampon. Maybe he's got, like, nosebleeds and they're really good. Apparently, according to a video that leaked from a Russian barrack, if you get shot, you can use a Tampax. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but probably not. Still, right? Like, that's the idea. And then you look at demographics. You're not going to suggest 50 Shades of Grey to a 68-year-old woman, right? There may be 68-year-old ladies that watch 50 Shades of Grey. Demo, shikushi. If I'm the company and I want to make sure that my ads go to the person that I want to purchase my product, right? I will not sell beer to people that are under 18. They probably consider race to be disrespecting, right? Like, I don't know. If I have ramen, rap music, right? Like, rap music, and I'm going like, okay, well, so I'm a rapper. I don't know, 50 Cent. And I look at the demographics of the people that listen to my music, and I've seen that an overwhelming amount of them are white teenage boys. And I'm like, okay, so my new album, I want YouTube to promote the white teenage boys. Apparently, the European Union does not appreciate that. It would be funny if the companies would simply refuse to comply and refuse to pay fines. Go ahead and block us. Oh, well, okay, so that's very simple for the European Union to deal. If you refuse to comply, then you can't do business in the EU, right? So, like, companies would not be able to pay you money, and if they did, the moment the money goes through the transfer, the EU would seize them. Like, do not think that the European Union does not have ways to enforce this. Like, for example, let's say that an American would sue me. So it would be international law, right? And I lose the lawsuit. Let's say that I have to pay an American $10,000. Now, the Americans cannot send the police after me, right? Like, they cannot send the FBI to seize to seize me. They cannot send the repo man from America to take away stuff that I own. But what they can do is, okay, well, I do business with other American companies. So I do business with Google, right? Like, Google pays me. Or Patreon. Or I don't think Subscribestar operates with the American bank. But the idea is, like, every single time my money goes into any type of circulation with an American company, and it's dominated by American law, then the American government can just seize my assets. So it's not like, oh my god, well, what are they going to do? That's what they're going to do. And on top of that, yes, they can actually block people. Garnishment for recollection. Look how nice it sounds. See? When you talk in legal terms, you sound smart. Garnishment for recollection. Exactly. All they can do is bar them from doing business in the EU. Yeah, but, like, you have to put it now from the perspective of Google. Do we want to stop doing business with an entire continent, or do we want to do what they ask? And chances are they're going to say, well, we're probably going to do what they ask because it's more profitable for us. In Australia, they didn't. So Facebook, a lot of people don't use Facebook and they think it's a silly company. But from country to country, it depends, right? Like, for example, Twitter is mostly used in America and Japan. In Romania, it's not used at all. In Romania, we use Facebook, right? In Australia, Facebook is very popular for small business owners. So if you want to do an advertisement as a small business owner, you use Facebook. And when Australia told Facebook, if you do not comply to our legislation, we're going to ban you, Facebook said, okay, well, ban us. And the people that freaked out were the small business owners. And there were so many of them that it could have tanked the Australian economy. So Australia went like, okay, fine. Just you win, Facebook. But in the case of the European Union, I don't think it's going to be like that. I think that Google and Facebook are going to do what the European Union wants them to do. They're going to stop targeting ads based on demographics, and at the same time, they're probably going to crack down on whatever the European Union considers to be disinformation. In other words, the government will decide. Okay. So the law called the Digital Services Act, see, it's meant to service me, is intended to address social media's societal harms by requiring companies to more aggressively police their platform for illicit content or risk billions of dollars in fines. Tech companies would be compelled to set up new policies and procedures to remove flagged hate speech, terrorist propaganda, and other material defined by illegal. Now, if you look at what these things construe, you can look at Germany. I mean, terrorist propaganda and hate speech. In Britain, which used to be part of the EU at the time, there was a guy which wrote on his house, Islam is questionable. That was hate speech. There was another person which put a salami in front of a mosque. That was a hate crime. He was arrested and stabbed in prison to death. Alphabet Corp has multiple accounts and financial agreements in the European Union, so they can't afford to simply uproot their business. Yes, this is what I'm telling the chat. Like, they will do it. And what's interesting is that this is not being discussed on television. This is not being talked about on the streets. This is being done in the open. I mean, people can look up the legislation, but it's not part of the conversation. This means that the European Union can fine them and go after their account directly if they don't pay, usually by a form of lien or injunction. They will pay. I have no doubt about it. Like when Germany, for example, told Twitter, you have 24 hours to remove questionable account. Twitter compelled. I mean, there are things this is actually something very interesting. If a German person flags something on Twitter, it's a priority. It doesn't matter what. But if you're from Germany and you flag something, it is a priority, and you'll get a message from Twitter saying that your post was searched to see if it is in disagreement with German law. And if it was found to be in disagreement, it can be removed. So the law aims to end an era of self-regulation in which tech companies set their own policies about what content could stay up or taken down. So I think that this is a little bit probably because of Twitter's Elon Musk. Because up until now, they didn't try to push for this because like all companies just did what the European Union wants. But recently, Twitter and Elon Musk, showing that they're going a little bit rogue, which in my opinion, they're not. Like, Twitter is still the same. Except now leftists are angry. I think that the misgendering was a thing that they allowed. Like, you can misgender people on Twitter now. I haven't even seen it being abused, to be honest. Like, I haven't seen a trans person coming out on Twitter and having people misgendering. But in certain countries, it can be illegal. You can get punished. And it depends, how the law is going to be applied. But the European Union is going to decide what is hate speech and what isn't. It stands out from other regulatory attempts by addressing that online speech, an area that is largely off limits in the United States because of the First Amendment. I don't fucking worry, they found ways around it. Google, which owns YouTube and Meta, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, would face yearly audits for systemic risks linked to their business, while Amazon would confront new rules to stop the sales of illegal products. Is Amazon even selling illegal products? So fucking interesting. The level of moral busybodiness is astonishing. Like, you're basically suggesting that the press... okay, before Facebook, before YouTube, before all of this, give me a reason to not be totally blackpilled. You have shortwave radio. But anyway, right, so before all of this internet era, people could publish newspapers, right? And there were a lot of them. Like a lot of independent newspapers. So if I wanted to be like the same thing that I am now, there were two job opportunities for me. Number one, a circus clown. And do not laugh. Like the first person that the Red Revolution has killed in Russia was a clown. Because clowns would actually go to the circus and they would actually have like political speeches. But anyway, right, so you could become a clown, a circus clown. Or you could open your own newspaper. And you would open like a small publication that was available at first maybe in a neighborhood or maybe locally, right? And after that, if it was successful, you'd get more and more money and you would expand. And eventually, like, this was the Facebook of the era. Let me show you. Hold on. So if you look at the screen, right? This was the social media of that particular time. So you'd go to these kiosks. I don't know. I think they may exist even in the United States. But, you know, they had like various news publications. And you had like far left newspapers, far right, communist, fascist, like whatever you want. They were filled. The idea that like the government would crack down on these businesses was unthinkable. So like you would have like the government just go in and tell this kiosk, oh, you're not allowed to sell that publication. Or you go to the newspaper and you say, hey, you're not allowed to print this. And it's just like mind-boggling. Like that's what communists did. People in the West, you know, away from Western Germany, they didn't have to do these tactics. But now it's, right, like because of social media, because of YouTube, Facebook, this doesn't happen anymore. Like the physical printing of newspapers is not something that's profitable. All of them moved to social media. And all of them now just have to abide at the social media TOS. Now, of course, there were limits, right? Like none of these newspapers actively incited to violence or blah, 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 blah. But like spreading misinformation and shit like that, yeah, that wasn't even like people even knew. It's like, okay, so you're buying the communist paper. Yeah, they're probably going to misinform you in order to make you think that the May Day was actually something that was done by capitalists and not by the communists. They also had a lot of counterfeit issues. They did. But anyway, right. Let me see where I left off. Here we go. The Digital Service Act is part as a 1-2 punch by the European Union to address the societal and economical effects of the tech giants. Last month, the 27-nation bloc agreed to a different sweeping law, the Digital Markets Act, to counter what regulators see as anti-competitive behaviors behind the big tech firms, including their grip over app stores, online advertising, and internet shopping. You know, this is definitely something that should be tackled, but whenever I see the European Union wants to tackle it, I think they're going to make it far worse. Like, I have absolutely no fucking idea. Without even reading this legislation, without even looking at the arguments, I have a feeling inside me that it's actually going to make things worse rather than better. Like the only thing that the European Union actually made that's good was the concept of like, let's stop fucking with the time zone, right? Like, let's start the daylight savings. Let's stop fucking with them. You know, it's annoying. Let's just pick one and stick with it. And apparently that law hasn't passed up until today. I have absolutely no faith that the European Union is ever going to pass a legislation that's going to improve my life in the slightest. But to talk about the monopoly that Google and Apple have, I think it's like 35% or some shit. Basically, every single app on the internet that you buy on your phone, it's more expensive because of that tax. It's called the internet tax for a reason. Soon they will remove the dust and cobwebs from the guillotine. No, they won't. Do you know that the guillotines actually had really funny names? Like they had the People's Razor, for example. They had like really cute nicknames. I didn't know that, but I found it on Wikipedia and I was amused. So together, the new laws underscore how Europe is setting the standard for tech regulations globally. By the way, this is something that 10 years ago, European newspapers were laughing that China is doing. I just want to point this irony out. Like if I go to Google right now and I look for articles from The Guardian and from other European publications like the Deutsche Welle, and you look at it, it's literally like, oh my god, look what China is doing with their social media. Ha ha ha. We have freedom, they do not. Naruhodo. Apparently frustrated by anti-competitive behavior, social media has effect on elections and the other thing, like social media has effect on elections. Dude, like social media doesn't go to vote, okay? Like before an election, you're going to have various entities trying to persuade people to vote one way or another. That's not interference. Like, I'm fucking sorry. That is democracy, right? It is so fucking baffling. And by the way, every single country does that to one another. It's not, like, do you not think that Germany has a vested interest in what political party manages to govern in the UK? Do you not think, like, they will try to influence the British people to vote one way or another? Obviously, it's not direct, but, like, they do have their own journalists that are writing papers. I mean, Germany had, like, that famous... that famous publication which had Donald Trump beheading the head of the Statue of Liberty. Do you not think that's meant to influence the way that American voters think? Because it was published on social media, like Americans have access to that. But anyway, right, it's like neither here nor there. This will be a model. A Green Party member of the European Parliament from Germany said on the new law... See, I didn't vote for this lady, but unfortunately she's making laws for my country. And she's deciding how I get to use the internet. I am so glad that I'm being kept safe. A deal was expected to be announced by the European policymaker in Brussels on Friday, though some word that the agreement could be delayed if negotiations need more time. Yeah, the way negotiations work in the European Union is that they put the bill in front of the representative, and if the representatives say no, then they take the bill, they modify it a little bit, and then they put it back. And they repeat this until they vote yes. And once they vote yes, they never get to vote on it ever again. The move contrasts with the lack of action in the United States. I love the fact that the New York Times is upset that the United States isn't censoring a little bit more. Regulators have filed antitrust cases against Google and Meta. No comprehensive federal laws tackling the power of the tech companies have been passed. Yet even as the European authorities gain newfound legal powers to rein in the tech behemoths, critics wonder how effective they will be. Writing laws can be easier than enforcing them, and while the European Union has a reputation as the world's toughest regulator of the tech industry, its actions have sometimes appeared tougher on paper than in practice. Well, yeah, because, you see, you do need Facebook, Google, and Meta in order to get political votes, right? Like, at the end of the day, they do want their propaganda. Like, the Green Party wants the Green Party propaganda to reach the people. So they need social media. What the Green Party doesn't want is AFD's propaganda to reach the people. So then they have a problem. It's like, how can we justify our propaganda to reach the people's ears, but suppress the other propaganda that's our competitor? And that's pretty much what they're trying to do. An estimated 230 new workers will be hired to enforce the new laws, a figure that critics said was inefficient. Yeah, I mean, of course, you need an army of bureaucrats. 230 is not enough. See, this is where my taxpayer money is going, to put food on these people's tables. Fantastic. The staffing figures are totally inadequate to face gigantic firms and new gigantic tasks. But like, you know, as all things, all these government programs just expand in time. Like, I haven't seen a government program to shrink in time. Very rarely does it happen. Usually, yeah, it starts with 200 new workers, and then it will probably end with 230,000 in 20 years or so. So, like, I would not be surprised. Without robust enforcement, he said, the new laws will amount to unfulfilled promise. That would be... See, do not threaten me with a good time, New York Times. Please. Please do not threaten me with a good time. You need skills, engineers, computer scientists, data scientists, and the like. You need a cultural change, both among regulators and the regulated firms. Mr. Ors, look, they're having a job for you. Lack of enforcement of the European Union Data Privacy Law, the General Protection Act, GDPR, has also cast a shadow. No, like, there were people that fucked with character AI, sending a GDPR request. It works. Like the Digital Service Act, the Digital Market Act, GDPR was hailed as a landmark legislation. By the way, do you know how much I hate GDPR? Fuck that shit. Basically, if you're in Europe, you cannot read certain newspapers from the United States because it's like, oh, well, we're sorry. This newspaper, this website is blocked in your country. And then every time I open a new website, I have to click accept. It's so fucking annoying. Like, the European Union already has my data. Why would I care if a corporation, if an American company has it as well? You need skills engineers, digital service, blah, blah, blah. The law, which would take effect next year, does not order internet platforms to remove specific forms of hate speech, leaving that to individual countries to define. Certain forms of hate speech and reference to Nazism are illegal in Germany. The law forces companies to add ways for users to flag illicit content. Inspired by the war in Ukraine and the pandemic, policymakers were also considering giving regulators additional powers to force the internet companies to respond quickly due to national security. Yeah. By the way, TikTok also today decided that it's illegal to spread misinformation about global warming, and I assume that type of information is also revolved on how the government wants to fix the global warming. So, for example, if I do not believe that paying more taxes makes Sky Daddy less angry, that's probably misinformation, right? I'm pretty sure that socialism, the government seizing my shit, is probably the best way in order to fight this horrible global warming catastrophe. So there's that. But TikTok, a Chinese company, interesting. I'm curious if they apply the same thing to China. Huh? Like if a Chinese person goes to TikTok and says, I do not believe in this hogwash, do you think they're going to be banned from TikTok? They have their credit score? Huh? Well, whatever. Anyway, right, so hopefully I have informed and entertained you guys enough, because I need to go and upload videos for my main channel. Go watch it, because they're going to be great videos, and I will see you guys there. Take care.